All right, so today we're going to be checking out these Focal Bathys headphones. Now, originally I was going to do a review on it, but then I realized that they needed some context. So I thought, why not just make this video a battle and throw in the Sony 1000xm5s. Now, the main reason why I want to do this is because these headphones are crazy expensive at $800. Meanwhile, these Sonys are coming in at only $350. And these Sonys have been seen as like the headphone, the wireless headphone for the longest time. And now some of the higher premium brands are starting to make some wireless options. So I wanted to compare and see, is that $450 price gap worth it? Starting off with the packaging, everything is pretty much the same. You're gonna get the headphone in pretty much the same type of case here. You're gonna get a USB-C cable. You're gonna get a 3.5mm jack if you want to plug it in on a plane, because Lord knows our phones don't have them anymore. When comparing the design of these headphones, they took two different approaches. The Bathys takes a very flashy approach with this wholly modern aluminum magnesium gray design, and Sony's takes a more minimal approach with the matte black design and minimal Sony branding on it. For $800, these Bathys headphones better be flashy at the end of the day. The Bathys has a leather headband on the outside, and on the inside there's a microfiber material that feels very nice on the head. Feels super premium compared to the Sony offering, which has some kind of like faux leather, I don't know, leather type of deal going on with minimal padding up top. Very slender headband. You could tell that they were focusing mainly on weight. What I do like about the Sonys is that they have this nice smooth headband that isn't as rough as the other one. It has that minimal approach, like I said, and both can swivel in with their ear cups like so. Now, one thing I did notice is that the Bathys is better when laying it straight onto your chest because they lay a little bit flatter. When I go over to the Sonys, I'll show you here, it kind of sticks up a little bit. You see that? Like, it's just not it's just not as good. So if you're traveling or if you take off your headphones a lot, I think the Bathys are better. The ear cups are bigger on the Bathys and feature a deeper cup compared to Sony's. This adds to the overall isolation from the outside world. I think they need these deeper cups because their noise canceling isn't as good as Sony's. So to make up for it, they have a lot of memory foam, super soft, feels very nice on the head. The clamp force can be a little tight, but again, I think they're trying to isolate you more than the Sonys. The Sony ear cups aren't deep at all because they know they have the best noise cancellation on the planet. Now, because of that clamping force, I do prefer the Sonys. They've much improved from their original XM1s to these XM5s. They really focus on that. Taking away some of the depth of the ear cup really works to their favor. They're super light, feel nice on the head. They're about 200 grams lighter overall, almost half the weight of the Bathys. And if you're just a person that wears your headphones for a long time, let's say you're on a plane or you're on a trip or you commute, you know, you have to have them on for a long period of time, I believe the Sonys are better for that. The Bathys are a little bit heavier, and I would actually prefer that more for home listening or just around the house doing chores. And they're a little bit more expensive, so if you do lose these, it's gonna hurt way more than if you lose the Sonys. The Sonys are still gonna hurt, but losing an $800 pair of headphones while you're out and about just doesn't seem like something I want to do. So the Bathys is premium, Sony's made lightweight and for travel, so you have to decide what's important to you. So if I had to choose between the two for design, I gotta go with the Bathys, but also the Sonys are no slouch. If you want something that's lightweight, if you're gonna be traveling a lot, definitely go with the Sonys. When it comes to control, nobody has Sony beat, in my opinion. Their touch controls are just simply amazing when it comes to their headphones. Swiping up and down will change the volume, swiping back and forth will skip and reverse tracks. It's just so convenient. Tapping will pause the song, putting your hand over the cup will, mute it a little bit while you talk to somebody. Man, it's just the control that you have just on the ear cup is so nice. They also have a noise canceling button on the bottom side, as well as a power and pairing button like a normal headphone would. Now the Bathys takes a more standard approach, right? They have the standard noise canceling button on the left hand side. On the right side, you're just gonna have a volume rocker with the pause play button in the middle there. Hitting it 3 times, skips backwards, hitting it 2 times, skips forward. You guys know the business. Outside of that, they have a switch for the DAC mode and the on mode, which is the wireless. And then they're gonna have the pairing as well. So pretty standard stuff here. Gotta give it to Sony for the controls. They are just so convenient and so nice to use. Now when it comes to battery life, both are running 30 hours. I took my Bathys on a trip recently. Had it on the flight, a 10-hour flight there, 10-hour flight back. I was using it throughout the trip, you know, a couple hours a day, watching some content, listening to some music on the beach. It was nice, and I didn't have to charge them once. So these things are tanks. Trust. They're not gonna run out of battery. The Sonys, again, really nice headphone. They have a more sensitive turn off rate, so they turn off really easily to conserve more battery, so they last a little bit longer than the Bathys just for that reason. But if you're being very vigilant of turning on and off your Bathys, I don't think there's going to be any problems with the battery life. So I will say when it comes to range, the Sonys are better if you want to walk around the house, outside, if you want to go to the gym and leave your bag in one corner, the Sonys are going to be better. All right, so the Bathys have 5.1 Bluetooth featuring aptX adaptive, which can play 24-bit music, and so can Sony's patented LDAC tech. Both have very low latency. For us Apple users, iPad users, I'm sorry to say guys, we don't get to use any of those technologies. We just use AAC, which is 16-bit. So if you're an audiophile, you probably want to have some type of Android device or Windows laptop. That's just, it is what it is. Now the difference between these two is pretty interesting. The LDAC has a bitrate of 990 kilobits per second, whereas the aptX adaptive on the Bathys only has 620. The main difference is that the adaptive, think of it like that, just like the name says, it's adaptive. So you have to think, your connection is not always going to be the strongest, so it's going to be jumping around to different bit rates, right? So you're not always going to be at the top 620 all the time. There's going to be interference, there's going to be things happening, there's going to be different distances from your phone or device or whatever. So what that means is the adaptive only goes down 10 kilobits per step. You're going to get 620, 610, 600, so on and so forth. The Sonys, on the other hand, it has a higher bit rate at 990 kilobits per second, but it jumps around. So it goes from 660 to 330. It has 3 steps. So it's big jumps. You're jumping 300 to 300 to 300. And it's not always, there's no in between here. There's no adapting like the adaptive. So the more consistent bit rate quality is gonna be on the adaptive. Even though this is a speed demon, think about just how often you're gonna be locked in at that 990 kilobits. It's not gonna happen, right? There's gonna be drops. So is faster really better here? I'm gonna say no. I think the adaptive, I'd much rather have that. So I'm gonna go Bluetooth wise with the Bathys. So next up, we're gonna check out the microphones, and then you're gonna let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. All right, so we are taking a look at the microphones on the 1000xm5s right now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is it going to be better than the Focal Bathys? Let's throw those on and see what you guys think. So now we're checking out the Focal Bathys headphones. Let me know what you guys think of the microphone on these headphones. Are they better or worse than the Sonys? So Focal is known as one of those high-end brands with really good sound, and I think it just shows off here. They flexed with this wireless headphone. Only when I compared it to the Sony did I really comprehend how good they were. So for most people, they think the Sonys are probably the best. I've seen people say that. You know, I don't need more than this. But as soon as you listen to the Bathys, you realize just how muddy these are. Like the clarity on the Focal is just immaculate. Like it's crazy good. The dynamics of your song just really come to life, meaning it just shows all the range of the spectrum, whether that's the deep bass, whether that's the high highs, nice roll-offs, nice clean bass. The vocals just sound amazing on this. You know, Her Lost Drake, amazing album on the Bathys. Now it's not gonna be a bass demon like a Skull Crusher headphone, Skull Candy, sorry. It's not gonna be that. But Sony, I don't think is either. Like they're a balanced headphone, I'd say, with more of the bass emphasis, I'd say, because that's what people like in the mainstream. This is more of like, hey, I wanna listen to some high quality music. I wanna hear the track. I wanna be impressed by my music. This is that. I love these. And no matter what genre I threw at it, I threw everything like Fred Again at it, Cascade, I threw some Drake at it, I threw some Always, this new group I'm listening to. Listen to the Ants from their album, and man, these headphones made me a believer when it came to the sound. Like, these are probably one of the best headphones that I now own. And they're wireless, right? I don't even have it plugged into a DAC or my computer. This is on the go. I have audiophile quality on the go now. Like I said, the Sonys are no slouch, and I think a lot of people would be, impressed by these, especially if they're coming from something that's just not as great. If you're coming from, let's say, some AirPods. Now, I don't want to diss on the 1000xm5s because I do think these are a solid headphone for most people, and especially at a fraction of the cost. Now, you can tailor both of these in the apps. You can work with their EQs and each one of their softwares. Both work really nicely, so you can tailor your sound. The Sony has some nice presets in there. I really like the excited and the relaxed and the clear bass, and that'll just give you much more options, so you can tailor these to how you want it. And again, for $350, I say that's a good price. When comparing it to these at $800, I'd say about half the sound quality, right? About half the sound quality. If it was 75%, I would start to question these, but I think these are actually priced really nicely. Now, I did take off noise cancellation to really hear the music from both of these, and still the clarity just got even better on the Bathys. One other thing that you might be looking for is movies, right? You might be watching movies on a plane or just on the go or watching content. Still, the Bathys just, like, it doesn't have the rumbliness, but it shows the background soundtrack of the movie you're watching or show you're watching, as well as giving you the vocals and the emotion from the characters in whatever scene you're watching. So again, Bathys wins there. Sony does an okay job. Just when you hear those, it's just clear as day which one is the better headphone. Now, a couple of things I want to touch on is the app. Sony's app just has way more control for your headphone. They have so many options in there that it'll make your mind spin. It's actually maybe almost too much, but you can take pictures of your ear and get the compression and yada yada yada. It's just kind of crazy. And I feel like that stuff is a little gimmicky in my opinion. But yeah, they also have the EQ in there. They also allow you to control the noise cancellation. You get the mode where you just block out everything, and this thing is amazing. It's world class, the best on the planet. When you are on a plane, you can barely hear the jet noise, if at all, right? Especially if you have something playing. Now, you can also turn this down so you can hear voices or cars if you're outside running, which is so nice to have. Just gives you ultimate control. Now, the Bathys is a little less refined. They have 3 different modes. They don't really tell you what they do. It's just kind of like, okay, do you want it silent? Do you want it soft? Or do you want it transparent where you can hear everything, which is pretty much noise cancellation off? So not as refined. When I use these on my last trip, I can still hear the engine noise. So these, I think the noise cancellation still has a way to go. If you're somebody who prioritizes, if you travel a lot, if you go on planes a lot, I definitely will pick up the Sony. So the Sonys will be the winner for the noise cancellation and the app. One other thing that the Bathys has over the Sonys is that it can be used in a DAC mode where you plug the USB-C port on the headphones to a port on your computer or your phone. Now, essentially this turns it into a wired mode, but you get the added benefit of using it like a DAC. So you don't get all the interference from a 3.5mm jack. Normally you have to carry another mobile DAC if you want to get the best sound quality out of your phone, but now we have it on board in our actual headphones, which is actually pretty sick. So at the end of the day, which one do I recommend? Well, depends on who you are. I'm gonna tell you, yeah, you know how us YouTubers do. We say, it is what it is. You guys make the decision from what I told you, but I'll tell you, I think most people will be okay with these Sony. As good as these are, and I believe in these headphones, the Bathys, I think if you have the extra dough, if you really care about your music and you travel, you want something on the road, yeah, go with the Bathys. But I think for most people, they probably wouldn't even, they know these are good, but they almost have to use these first to really understand how good these are. So I'd say these are a nice stepping stone. Maybe you pick up these first and then work your way up to the Bathys. But if you're a seasoned pro, you have the 1000xm5s, you've been thinking about upgrading to something better, you're not happy with the sound, Focal Bathys all day, every day. And these are the ones that I'm gonna be taking on my flights. So engine noise, come at me. I'm waiting, I'm here, I'm down to do it. Let's do it, let's travel, let's go. Anyways, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this comparison, this battle between Sony, I keep grabbing these all video, the Sony 1000xm5s and the Bathys from Focal. All right, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Have you tried either one of these? What are your thoughts? If you just want to say hi, I'm gonna be down there. All right, it has been your boy BT saying peace.